بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد Alhamdulillah ala ni'matil Islami was Sunnah. All praise and thanks belong to Allah for guiding us to Islam and for guiding us to the Sunnah. Alhamdulillah, hamdan kathira. It is incumbent and it is a must, as we keep reiterating, that when it comes to the foundations and the basics of the deen, we have to learn them and we have to learn them well. There is no excuse for anyone who is a Muslim, who is sane, except that they have to know the meaning of La ilaha illallah, male and female, young and old, rich and poor. We have to know what is the meaning of La ilaha illallah if we truly want to benefit. Now again, we have acknowledged that for many of us this is not the first time, this is not the first sitting or the first time that we have heard the likes of these things, and we want to make this time different. We don't want to make this time like the other times. We don't want to make these times like the other times if we walked away previously and we didn't get what we were supposed to get. Now, it is incumbent, and we reiterate yet again, that the ilm is based upon sound proofs and evidences that are inside of their context. Now, sound proofs and evidences that are inside of their context. And it is incumbent that we connect ourselves to the text of the book and the sunnah, and that we do not connect ourselves to the statements of men. As the great Imam, the Imam of Sham, Imam Awza'i, rahimahullah ta'ala, the great Imam, he mentions, he says, عليك بآثار من سلف, that it is upon you to stick to the narrations of those who have come before. It is incumbent that you stick to the narrations of the pious predecessors. Now, this is what he means by athar man salaf, the pious predecessors. And when we think about the pious predecessors, the head of them, the first of them, bila shak wa bila rayb, is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Naam, that is, and he is our Imam. He is our Imam. Naam, ultimately. And those companions and those who followed them upon the khayr from the second generation and the third generation and all of the generations that came. But in particular, those first three generations, and specifically the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba. عليك بأثار من سلف وإن رفضك الناس, that it is upon you to stick to the narrations of those who have come before, even if the people reject you. Now, the point is that we are encouraged to stick to the narrations, to stick to the text of the book and the sunnah, even if the people reject us. Because if they reject us for sticking to Allah said, then we are in no need of them anyway. If they reject us because we're sticking to the Prophet ﷺ said, then we are in no need of them anyway. But what is incumbent is that we connect ourselves to the text. And we see this is the overwhelming theme in the statement of this great Imam Awza'i, where he says, عَلَيْكَ بِأَثَارِ مَنْ سَلَفْ وَإِنْ رَفَضَكَ النَّاسِ, that it is upon you to stick to the narrations of those who have come before the pious predecessors, even if the people reject you. نعم. وَإِيَّاكَ وَأَرَاءِ الرِّجَالِ وَإِنْ زُخْرِفُوا لَكَ بِالْقَوْلِ, and beware of the opinions of human beings, even if they beautify them with speech. Now, so what is Imam Awza'i pointing us to? To stick to the narrations and to disconnect ourselves from human beings. To stick to the narrations and disconnect ourselves from human beings, meaning those human beings who are upon that which is contrary to the book and the sunnah. We stick to the narrations, we stick to the Qur'an, we stick to the sunnah, because that is wahy. Now, that is wahy. We look to those companions who are upon the way of the Prophet ﷺ, because there we get an understanding, we get the proper understanding, and we get an example and an illustration of how the book and the sunnah is properly applied. So this is very, very important that we stick to the text and we stick to properly applying the text. Now, so with that being the case, we have to study based upon proofs and evidences. So we have went over the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Na'am. And it was mentioned that the meaning of La ilaha illallah is La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah, that none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah, that none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. And we had mentioned that this kalima of La ilaha illallah, it has two pillars. It has two pillars. And this is vital, and we must understand this. It has two pillars. Those pillars are pillars of nafi wal ithbat. They are negation and affirmation. Now, it's a negation and it is an affirmation. It is a negation of all those things that are worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we negate that any ibadah be given to any of these things. Now, whether it is an angel or a prophet or a celestial body or a rock or stone, an animal, so on and so forth, no one and no thing deserves anything from worship, because all worship belongs unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so no one deserves to be worshipped. No one shares any portion of worship. All worship belongs unto Allah. So there is a negation and an affirmation. The negation, وَمَا الدَّلِيلِ? What's the dalil for the negation? Then verily it is the statement La ilaha. Nothing has the right to be worshipped. Now, and grammatically what is understood from that is bihaq, in truth. Now, that nothing has the right to be worshipped in truth. That's the negation. The affirmation is the statement illallah. Illallah. Except for Allah. And that is affirming all worship belongs to Allah and to Allah alone. It belongs to Allah and to Allah alone. It is important that we understand these pillars and we understand the order that they come in the kalima itself. Now, because for homework, there was an ayah that everyone had to reflect over and to show and to explain what is the point of reference here in this particular verse that shows that it is a proof for the proper meaning of La ilaha illallah. Naam. And if we understand the pillars and the order that the pillars come in, that will be a great aid and assistance so that we will be able to see how this particular ayah is a proof and an evidence that establishes the correct meaning of La ilaha illallah. Naam. And that ayah, who remembers what that ayah was and where it was located? Naam, Ahsant. La ikraha fi din. That there is no compulsion in the religion. Naam, there is no compulsion in the religion. Why? It's in the ayah. Naam. Because the guidance has been made known from the misguidance. قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. Now, there's no compulsion in religion. The guidance has been made clear. Has been made clear from the misguidance. Now, so there's no compulsion, no reason to. The guidance is clear. And it's been made clear from that which is misguidance. Now, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He goes on to say, فَمَن يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ. So whoever disbelieves in the false deities, whoever disbelieves in the false deities, and they believe in Allah. Naam. In the kalima of La ilaha illallah, we have a nafi and we have ithbat. So we have a negation and then we have an affirmation. And the ulama, they mention from them, the great Allama Muhammad Aman al-Jami, he mentions that this ayah is one of the most clearest proofs for the proper meaning of La ilaha illallah. It's one of the most clearest, apparent proofs for the proper meaning of La ilaha illallah. Because in this ayah, let's go back. In the kalima of La ilaha illallah, we find that negation comes first, and then affirmation comes. Right. So those are the keys. So we're looking for negation that's followed by an affirmation. That's what we're looking for. Negation, and then next affirmation. So in this ayah, do we see a negation and then an affirmation? Where? فَمَن يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ. Now, so whoever disbelieves in the false deities, and that equals what? La ilaha. Now, because that is negating. So we're negating ibadah for the false deities. Now, anything that is worship other than Allah, we negate worship for it. We say, no, it doesn't deserve worship. It doesn't deserve anything from worship. Now, and then in the kalima, we have illallah. And that's the affirmation. So where's the affirmation in the ayah? Naam. وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ. And they believe in Allah. So that's the affirmation. So this is the exact construction. Negation for negation, affirmation for affirmation. Naam. Also, what further highlights this is that what? Is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us that if we disbelieve in the tawhoods, if we disbelieve in the false deities, and we believe in Allah, فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى, then we will have taken hold on the most trustworthy handhold. Naam. And the most trustworthy handhold, the Mufassirun, they translate it, they explain it, and they say what is meant by it is what? Anyone remember? What's meant by it, they say, is the statement, the kalima, La ilaha illallah. They say, so what is the most trustworthy handhold? La ilaha illallah. Naam. So not only does the ayah prove the proper meaning and is a proof and evidence for the proper meaning, it comes in the same construction, negation, then an affirmation. But if you establish this, then you would have grabbed hold on the most trustworthy handhold, which is La ilaha illallah. That most trustworthy handhold that does not break. Does not break. Naam. La fisala. La. Does not break. So then when we reflect and we look at it, we see that this ayah, all of it is what? Is tawheed. Subhanallah. And the ayah before it is what ayah? Ayatul Kursi. And that's all tawheed. And it's the greatest ayah in the Qur'an. Because the Qur'an is kitab al-tawheed. The Qur'an is the book of tawheed. It begins with tawheed, in the middle is tawheed, in the end is tawheed. Naam. It begins with tawheed, in the middle is tawheed, in the end is tawheed. Everything is tawheed inside the Qur'an. Naam. Alhamdulillah. Right. So, when we learn, it is incumbent that we learn upon this manner. Not only that we bring the proof and evidence, but we're able that we know, and we're able to show where is the angle of the proof as contained inside this text. So the point is that what? We have to strive to seek to understand the text properly. We have to strive to seek to understand the text properly so that we may apply them. And that brings us into what was mentioned inside of the khutbah, this week's khutbah, is that we have to become more serious about those sciences that will help us understand the text. Now, remember we mentioned that there are certain sciences that are tools. Now, this is the what they're called. The sciences that are tools. We utilize them as tools. We gave an example and we said they're like mafatih, they're like keys. Now, tools, they help us do things, but keys because they unlock other things for us. Now, and really until we start to get a firm grasp over these sciences, we're going to be wanting. Our knowledge is going to be lacking. Now, we're going to find ourselves spinning our wheels in many cases. Now, it's important to understand that there has to be a balance, right? Because Shaitan, he has a trick for everyone. Shaitan has a trick for everyone. So, what the trick of Shaitan is, he'll get you to avoid these sciences. So now you're stuck and you will only reach a certain point and then you'll just spin your wheels. Because you'll find that you got to keep going back. You finally got to keep going back. Right? You accomplish a little bit, then one step forward, two steps back. Why? Because you don't have those things that will help you move on to the next level. Right? So you're stuck. You reach that glass ceiling and you're stuck at that level. Now, so Shaitan will get you to don't worry about those things, so he'll get you stuck at that level. Or he'll get you to over concentrate and focus on those things to the negation of other things. Now, so there has to be a balance. So what I'm saying is that classes like this, a person will benefit from it, and it has its benefit from a certain angle. But it's not the totality of the situation. Not at all. Right? There has to be another component added to it so that the benefit is increased. Right? And from those components that are added to it, without doubt, is that what? Learning how to read the Qur'an. Because if we're going to be seeking to study and understand the Qur'an, then we have to, at first, learn how to read it. Right? And I want you to understand probably what I mean. I mean, learn how to read it. So that we're able to distinguish and differentiate a ba from a ta from a tha. A jim from a kha from a ha. Now, we're able to, do we know which one is which? Right? Wait. That's the first step. Then the second step is that what? Then we have to gain a proficiency in learning what are the meanings of these words. Now, even before we get to knowing the meaning, but while we're learning how to read, we have to learn how to properly pronounce them. Right? And we have to learn how to properly recite them. So the knowledge of tajweed is important. Ilm al-tajweed is important. Now, Imam al-Jazari, what he says in Muqaddimah Jazariya, he says, Al-akhdhu bil-tajweed hatmun lazimun. وَمَنْ لَمْ يُزَوِّدِ الْقُرْآنَ آثِمٌ لِأَنَّهُ مِنَ الْإِلَهِ أَنزَلَ وَهَكَذَا مِنْهُ إِلَيْنَا وَصَلَ. نعم وأنه من الإله أنزل وهكذا إلينا منه وصل. نعم. He said that He said that taking or applying tajweed is something that is lazim. Hatmun lazimun is wajib. That we have, meaning for the one who has the ability to recite with tajweed, he has to recite with tajweed. And if he doesn't, then he is a sinner. Right? If a person has the ability to recite with tajweed, but they do not recite with tajweed, they are a sinner. They get a sin. Right? Why? لأنه من الإله أنزل. Because like this, it was revealed from Allah. With tajweed. وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنِ تَرْتِيلًا. Recite the Qur'an in the melodious way that it's supposed to be recited, meaning with tajweed properly. نعم. وَهَكَذَا مِنْهُ إِلَيْنَا وَهَكَذَا إِلَيْنَا مِنْهُ وَالصَّلَاءَ وُصِلَ. And like this from him, it has reached us. And like this from him, it has reached us. The Qur'an has reached us with tajweed. So we have to recite the Qur'an properly. We have to recite the Qur'an properly with the ahkam of tajweed. So now, how is important is tajweed? It's important. But people play it as if it is not important. Learning how to read, not important. Reciting correctly, not important. No, it's very important. Everything, it has its importance. It has its place. Now, and until we start understanding the place and the importance of the likes of these things, then we are cheating no one but ourselves. Now, the point is that if we don't know the letters, if we can't read, then how will we be able to understand? How will we be able to understand? If we don't know what the words themselves mean, how can we study them? We have to know what the words mean. So then there has to be a focus on the Arabic language. Now, and likewise, hence, while we keep saying the statement of the ulama, لولا الكتاب والسنة ما تعلمنا العربية. If it wasn't for the book and the sunnah, we would not have learned Arabic. We learn Arabic, why? So we can understand the book and the sunnah. Because it's about seeking to understand the text. Likewise, the usul al-fiqh, qawaid al-fiqhiyya, so on and so forth, all of these things to help us understand the text. But if we don't know the usul al-fiqh, if we don't know qawaid al-fiqhiyya, how are we going to understand the text? Mustalah hadith. Now, this helps us what? Understand the text. Because it helps us be able to identify what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, what level is this, what level is that, so on and so forth. But ala kulli hal, it is that which is a key to help us understand the text. We need all these keys because all these doors have to be opened. Right? And then, so on and so forth. وَقِسْ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. So on and so forth. Al-Muhim is that we have to start to concern ourselves with the likes of these sciences. Okay? Now, the likes of these sciences, obviously, the weekly Friday class, the weekly Saturday class, the weekly family night, or whatever the case is, that's not the time or place to study the likes of those aforementioned sciences. Those will require study that's a little more intricate, a little more in depth, because they require the memorization of texts, of certain texts, scholastic texts, of so on and so forth, and the understanding and the study of those texts, so that we can understand that science. So that will require some hours, not just your weekly 45-minute, shot of class, right? Not just your weekly dose. No, it's going to require something multiple days a week. But memorizing Quran is important. It's important so that you have it with you. حيثما توجهت ينفعني, as Imam Shafi'i said, wherever I turn it benefits me, meaning his knowledge. So if you have to memorize it, but memorization of the Quran, everyone knows 1 day a week that it doesn't do it. 1 day a week is not enough. Now, it should be every day. It should be every day. Can't be every day, every other day. But it should be every day. Every day. Even if it's just a little bit. Has to be every day. Has to be continuous, right? So my point is, because again, this is the sisters class, right? And they are the main demographic that we are catering to as relates to these classes, is that our children, we have to urge our children and push them to accomplish these things. And we will be incapable of doing that if we ourselves have not accomplished these things, or we ourselves don't even understand the importance of these things. Now, it is incumbent and it is a must that we strive to educate them as relates to the likes of these things, and we push and we encourage them to go and learn these things, and we support the local programs that are providing the likes of these things. And if we don't find the local programs providing these things, then we request them, because we need them. Right? And this is important, because only once you mix this with that will you really start to see change inside of the community. They have to be mixed. Now, that a person is concentrating on the likes of those classes, learning how to read, learning tajweed, memorizing Quran, learning Arabic, learning usul al-fiqh, learning usul al-tafsir, so on and so forth, from these sciences, and at the mustalah and the like. But at the same time, then they're constant on the likes of these classes that are going over the books dealing with explanation of hadith or tafsir of Qur'an, or going over the books of aqidah and minhaj and so on and so forth. We have to put them all together. Now, learning the ahkam of the sharia as relates to those matters that are wajib upon us, like the salah. So anyone that has to learn about the salah, then by default you have to learn about ahkam tahara, because the tahara is the miftah of the salah. If you don't have wudu, if you don't not upon tahara, then your salah won't count. So you have to learn the ahkam and so on and so forth. So that has to be learned, right? How to pray properly has to be learned. What to say, when to say it has to be learned. Now the ahkam of siyam has to be learned, so on and so forth. So that requires what? It requires learning centers. And subhanAllah, do you know in Islamic history that the masajid were the first learning centers? The masajid was the first learning centers. All the people would come and learn in the masjid. How the concept of universities reached the earth was because the masajid could no longer house the number of students that were coming. The masajid could no longer house. Too many students were coming. There were too many children, too many people learning, too many children, preteens, teens, adults learning, that they could no longer house everybody. Then the idea, the concept was, we have to take it outside the masjid, make another place, because there's too many people here. And that is what led to the establishment of the first universities upon the earth, that were established by who? By the Muslims. That were established by us, the Muslims. Right? So, with this being the case, let us understand what was the origin of that. It started in the masjid. Now, so likewise, the person said, well, we can't open a masjid. Maybe not at this point, right? But we have the masjid. Utilize the masjid. Teach the children. There's never an excuse. Say, well, I can't learn now. No, you can learn now. SubhanAllah, Shaykh Mutbir rahmatullah alayh, he said that you have integrity, right? He said, even if you have a plot of land and you mark out the borders of where that land is, and you just do what you got to do right there, he said, then this is honorable. This is noble. This is honorable. This is noble, and that's what you do until you can do something more. So there's never an excuse. We have a tree with some shade, then we can have class right there. SubhanAllah, the Muslims in Mauritania, the Muslims in North Africa, and so on and so forth, they have the classes where? Outside, in the desert. Now, the brothers in Yemen, how many places in Yemen? Outside. Right? Under this tree. That's Sheikh so-and-so's class. Under that tree, that's Ustad such and such class. Because there's never an excuse. And subhanAllah, here in Florida, where the weather is pretty good all year round. Still now. I mean, subhanAllah, it's supposed to be the coldest time, and I have a little vest on. SubhanAllah, come on. Right? There's no excuse. But the point is that we have to change our thinking. We have to stop being habitual naysayers. People who every time something comes up, we tell you why we can't do it. Well, I want to do this. Well, and it's so negative. Well, we don't have this. We don't have that. We don't have that. Listen, I understand that there's a million reasons why I can't do something. I didn't bring it up so that you discourage me. I brought it up because I see importance and I want to do it. So the intelligent thing to do is encourage me. If there's 10 reasons why I can't do it, how about you point out the couple of reasons I could do it? Right? Because when it comes to a problem, any Bakr or Zayd can tell you, Joe Schmo, that's what I say in English, right? Any Joe Schmo can tell you the problem. Only the intelligent person can tell you the solution. You understand? If the building is leaning, any fool can say the building leaning and not straight. Anybody can say the building not straight. No. But it's the moment knowledge is going to tell you, okay, well, this is how we straighten it. Right? So, as when it comes to why we can't do stuff, we're not stupid. It ran through our minds some of these reasons why we can't do things. It crossed our minds. So I don't need you to come and reinforce that so as to discourage me. And then I don't want to do it no more because you talked me out of it. No. Don't discourage me. If there's 10 reasons I can't do it, but there's 2 reasons that I probably could do it, talk about those 2 reasons. Point those out. But if we do this and do that, we can maybe pull it off. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear why I can't do it. I already thought about the reasons why it's going to be difficult. Let's do it. Let's find excuses to do it, not excuses not to do it. So my point is that it is incumbent that if we're truly going to benefit from the likes of these classes, we have to change our perception. We have to change the way we look at things. If we truly want to benefit from our communities, we have to change our manner that we interact with our communities. If we happen to be in places where we don't find what we're looking for, then go someplace where you find what you're looking for. That's the bottom line. Right? How many people have moved from this place to that place because of job? And we're not talking, subhanAllah, a lot of times we're not talking like major numbers. A brother will move from this state to that state for a job. Why? Because this job is going to pay me $5 more. You hear me? $5 more. Now, it's not a lot of the money. It adds up, over time, don't get me wrong, but it's $5 difference. You're going to uproot from one state to another state for a $5 difference and a better title, right? And you move. But to do that, to put your family in a better Islamic situation, you don't think that's important, right? Even if you got to take a $2 pay cut hourly, it benefits you and your family more that now they have a school to attend, they have people that are like-minded moving in a direction, so on and so forth. Now, so these are things that if you don't see it where you're at, try to establish it where you're at. If you can't establish where you're at, for whatever reason, the resources and whatnot, then you go to those who are like-minded trying to establish those things, and you help them establish those things. Or if they have them already established, you go there, you benefit from what's already established, and you help it continue, inshallah ta'ala. But we have to change our mentalities because these are the things we need. We need to be serious. In other words, let me simplify this. There should be no Muslim that doesn't know how to read the Qur'an. Ramadan is coming. Now, we want to read the Qur'an, not just in Ramadan, but we definitely in Ramadan want to read the Qur'an. Because if you're not going to read in Ramadan, we going to read it. Right? So, Ramadan is coming. So let everyone make it their business to say, okay, I'm going to prepare for Ramadan by learning how to read. If I know the alphabet, I'm going to learn the alphabet by Ramadan. That's not hard. You can learn the alphabet a couple of days a day. Right? But, I'm going to learn the vowels. I'm going to learn how to read the vowels. I'm going to learn how to connect the letters. I'm going to learn how the letters look and how they change when they're written in the middle, the beginning and the end and so on and so forth. I'm going to learn how to read, just to articulate. That's the first step. Learn how to articulate it, and then you take it from there. But that's where seeking knowledge first starts. And that's going full circle back to what we're trying to get at. Is that these classes are there to seek knowledge. Where seeking knowledge starts, as Sheikh Abdis al-Sheikh, he mentions, the Mufti, he says that seeking knowledge begins with the Qur'an. It begins with learning and learning how to read the Qur'an, perfecting reading the Qur'an. That's where the seeking of knowledge begins. That's where it starts. Now, with the Salaf, if a pupil came and said, I want to be Talib al-Ilm, I want to be Talib al-Hadith, now, the Shaykh will ask him, did you finish memorizing the Qur'an? He will say, if he said no, he said, go back, finish the Qur'an. When you finish, then come back. If he came and said, yes, I finished it, they will give him a hard test to see if he memorized it good. If he memorized it good, they'll say, okay, now you can learn Hadith. I'm just saying, right? That's how it was with the Salaf. That's how it was in the past. Now, so if we want to seek knowledge, so we say, we attend the live CD classes, we tune in online, we see the live stream and we follow because we want to seek knowledge, then we have to take the path of seeking knowledge. Now, and that path of seeking knowledge is not devoid from learning how to read the Qur'an, knowing how to read, knowing Arabic. So there should be no Muslim that is an adult that don't know how to read Arabic. Now, because real for real, all the Muslims should know how to speak Arabic. Really. Ala kulli hal, this is how we need to change, we need to adjust our perception of Bi'nillahi ta'ala. So I was saying all that, and let's get back to this, and we'll close it out Bi'nillahi ta'ala. And please excuse my tangents. Ala kulli hal, the proper meaning of La ilaha illallah, La ma'buda bihaqqin illallah, wa ghayr Allah in ubida bil batil. And other than Allah, if his worship is worship and falsehood. Because La ilaha illallah means that none has a right to be worshipped in truth except Allah. And if other than Allah is worshipped, then it is worshipped in falsehood. It is worshipped in falsehood. And the proof, what's the proof? The proof? Now, for the meaning is what? The ayah after ayah 2? Kursi. Okay. No, the proof. The dalil. The dalil. نعم. فقد بين رشد من الغي فما يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى. نعم. طيب. What's another proof? ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأن ما يدعون من دونه باطل. طيب. How is that one a proof? ذلك, that is because Allah is the truth, and that which is called upon other than Him is false. لا معبود بحق إلا الله, because it brings the same meaning. It affirms worship for Allah and it negates worship for other than Allah. The worship for Allah is worship that is done in truth. لا معبود بحق ذلك بأن الله هو الحق. That is because Allah, He is the truth. Now, and that which is called upon other than Him, then it is false. Now, La ilaha. Like, in La ilaha illallah, it has arkan. It has pillars. And those pillars are? No, the pillars. Remember, pillars are two. And nafi. La ilaha. Naam. Nafi wa ithbat illallah. Naam. Ahsant. La ilaha nafi wa ithbat illallah. Naam. So, La ilaha illallah. So now, so up to this point, now, we should know the meaning of La ilaha illallah. And at least two proofs and evidences that point to it. The first proof is that, what? La ikraha fi din, the ayah. The second one, ذَلِكَ نعم أحسنت ذَلِكَ بأن الله والحق. But, and we should know the pillars of La ilaha illallah, that they are nafi wal ithbat, negation and affirmation. The proof for negation is what? La ilaha. And the proof for affirmation is illallah. Now, ahsant. Next, what we want to get into are the conditions of La ilaha illallah. Now, because there's certain conditions that have to be applied, that have to be fulfilled rather, for an individual to truly benefit from the kalima of La ilaha illallah. And if those conditions are not fulfilled, then the statement of La ilaha illallah will not benefit the one who says it. And that's very scary. Now, it's very scary. But bidnillahi ta'ala, in the next class, we'll get into the pillars. Because the pillars, as we will go through them, they are 8. They are 8. And the way that they have been numbered in this particular way, you may see other numbers, as other scholars mention other numbers, but you will find that all of they're all saying the same thing, just in different ways. They're all saying the same thing, just in different ways.
Pillars or conditions?
No, conditions. Shurut. Shurut.
I say pillars 8.
Oh, Ahwan, that was my mistake. No. Conditions. Ma'adira. The conditions, yes. The shurut. The conditions of La ilaha illallah are 8. The pillars are 2. The arkan, 2. The shurut, then they are 8. They are 8. Now, so inshallah ta'ala, the next class we'll get into the shurut, the conditions for La ilaha illallah, and the homework will be as regular, 10 questions based upon this class and what was presented therein. It'll be 10 questions which will be posted on the Telegram page بإذن الله تعالى. فنكتفي بهذا القدر، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وجزاكم الله خيرا.